I just want to say welcome back to Healing Conversations. It is me, Sherelle, and I am back with another recording for you guys today. And I'm really excited today to have this conversation with you guys because I think that it's really, really important to know when you have to start validating and loving yourself. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story time about my heartbreak, one of my biggest heartbreaks. And I think I talked about this in the last recording, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong, but I believe I did. Getting your heart broken will take you to places that you never thought you would ever go to. It brought me down to my knees. It brought me down to a place where I didn't think I would ever be. It felt like I was on the ground crawling, trying to pull myself back up because I was so hurt and broken by someone who I loved and I trusted at this time. And so it taught me a lot about myself. But one of the things I learned about myself too throughout this whole healing journey that I'm still going through my healing journey, you guys, and I'm getting stronger as each day goes by. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy, but it's worth it in the end because you finally get to heal that inner child in you. One thing I learned is that your validation has to come from you. It can't come from another person. When you start looking for outside validation, that's when mistakes happen. That's when you start to slip up, because at this point, if that person leaves your life today or tomorrow, you are basically not going to be okay because you needed them to validate you, to give you something. And that was one of the biggest things for me, was just seeing how I leaned into that validation so much because I felt like it was so needed in order for me to be okay. Men were validating me and I needed that validation. And when you say it out loud, it sounds horrible, but it's the truth. Because when you have low self-esteem, you don't love yourself, you're struggling with codependency or anxious attachment style issues, you definitely feel like you need people around you. And then for me, I'm a people pleaser, so I don't know how to say no to people. So I'm learning to set boundaries. And because it's like I can't say no because I'm scared the person might get mad at me or they might get upset with me, or I don't like conflict. So for me, I avoid conflict at all costs. So if I have to say whatever I have to say to get that person to calm down or to get that person to be rational with me, I'm going to say it because I don't want that to turn into this huge escalated argument. But one thing I want you guys to also notice as we talk about this healing journey that I'm going on, this is not just my journey, it's your journey too if you're healing or going through the same things as me. One thing I do want to say to you guys, the first step to healing though, you have to recognize that there's a problem. In order to heal, I went through a lot of times, y'all, where I did not see that there was a problem with me. Everyone saw the problem but me. I didn't think I needed to be healed. I didn't think I was broken. I thought I was fine. I thought all my relationships were normal. Because I'm like, this is normal. People go through things like this every day, but it wasn't normal for my ex to call me out my name. It wasn't normal for my exes to disrespect me, to abuse me physically, mentally, verbally. None of that was normal. But to me, I equated that to love because I didn't love myself. So I'm thinking, oh, this is normal. All couples go through this. But no, they don't, in fact. Not all men disrespect women. Not all women disrespect men. But in my head, because of my low self-esteem and my codependency issues, I assumed that was normal. And that meant that person loved me when they didn't at all. If a person mistreats you, trust me, that's not love. That is not love. And so I had to recognize that there was a problem. And that's when I started therapy, because I said, hey, there's something not right here. And then I started going into therapy. And that's when therapy became so important to me, because it was like, I need to go to therapy to talk about this. And that's when my therapist started digging deeper into my childhood and all these things from my past. And she started figuring out that I was in fact broken, that I needed to heal, that I had a lot of issues in my childhood and trauma that I had not addressed, and things that had happened to me and stuff that happened in high school. And we were digging so deep because we had to. And I feel like that's the first step that you're going to take, is realizing that, hey, there's something not going on here, something not right. That's the first step to healing. You got to recognize it, because if you don't ever recognize it, you'll never heal it. And you'll keep repeating those cycles over and over again. The second thing to me that was a step to me healing was looking at the people who I had in my life. I looked around and I said, are these people good for me? Are they good for me or are they bad for me? Do they do anything for me? Do they bring value into my life? I had to really look, because sometimes the people in our life, we don't realize they bring us completely down. We don't see it, but they bring us completely down, because it's like we have these people in our lives, but are they good for us? A lot of people around us are not good for our souls, and we don't even see it. We're blinded because we think this is our friend, this is our lover, this is our whatever. And so we get blinded by thinking that because of these things, this person is a good person. They're just completely not. When I look at the people around me, I was like, Sherelle, a lot of people in your life are not good people. They do this, they do that. Like, they say things to you, they hurt you, and you still keep them around. Why? So when you start looking at your inner circle and seeing who's really a good friend and who's not, who really uplifts you, who really makes you feel good, who's that friend that's going to push you to be the best version of you, that's when you have to start weeding people out. And I think that's hard for some. It was hard for me to cut people out of my life because I'm like, I don't want to lose this friend. I've known this friend since elementary school, but sometimes you have to let people go. That's just what it is. It's sad, but it's true. And so I really look at those steps as being good. One of the third steps I had to look at was the patterns. I had so many patterns that I kept repeating in my life. And I couldn't figure out, why am I repeating these same patterns? Why am I repeating the same? Like, for one, I kept dating the same type of men. I kept dating broken men, and it was a pattern that kept being repeated over and over. So from there, I knew something was going on with me. It's like, Sherelle, why do you keep dating the same men? Why do you keep getting your heart broken? And then you look at yourself and go, oh my God, this person broke my heart. They hurt me. Then I blame that person for hurting me. But it's like, Sherelle, you knew the kind of person they were when you met them. You saw the red flags. You ignored them because you didn't want to be alone, because you wanted somebody to validate you and love you. So you ignored everything just to say you had love. Just to say you had a man, right? And so I had to look at those patterns and try to break them and say, hey, this has to be broken in order for me to heal. Otherwise, I'm never going to heal. And your patterns will be a big thing that you notice. And then as you get to notice your patterns, you'll also start to notice the patterns in the people that you have in your life. And you can say, oh, this person's doing the same thing over and over. That means something ain't right with them. They're not good for me. And so that was another step I had to look at. Step 4 was just really sitting with myself. I had to learn to sit with myself. The biggest thing about healing that people don't like is sitting by themselves. It's almost like a death sentence. You feel like you're in a jail cell because you're like, I can't sit, I can't sit, I can't sit, I can't sit. But you can, in fact, sit. And you will sit and you will be okay. But so many people feel like, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay. I have to have somebody beside me to be complete. And that's just something that is not true. It's not true. You literally can sit with yourself and be okay. Sometimes that silence used to get to me. I used to sit and be like, oh, I'm so lonely. I'm looking around the room like I need that silence to stop. So in order to fill the void, I had to have a man, right? Because it's like, I need somebody beside me. But I had to learn that silence is the beauty in all of it. Sit with yourself, because then you figure out who you are. You get to love you. You get to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what's good for you, what's not good for you. And that's the beauty in it. And step 5 was sitting with God. Oh my God. I had to get my relationship right with God. I had to sit with God and pray to him and lean on him. And I had to go back to church and I had to read my Bible, my Christian books, because I had to understand what the direction God was asking me to go into. I had to live my life the way God would want me to live it. And so I really was leaning on him during this time. And I mean, you have to lean on him. And if God will get you through it all. He will see you through everything you're going through, but you have to really lean on him. When I say lean hard as you can onto God, and God will see you through it. He will make a way out of no way. And 6 was really just my steps to healing was therapy is a big one, y'all. Therapy was another big step. You have to go to therapy. When I tell you, if you think you can heal by yourself, go ahead. I tried it. I tried healing. I said, I'm going to just lean on God and just heal by myself. And although that was working to a certain extent, things would still come up and I was struggling to deal with it. So I'm telling you now, you got to go to therapy. Sit with your therapist. Even if you have to be in therapy for a year until you get where you need to be, it's fine. Some people stay in therapy for years. It doesn't matter, but go to therapy and meet with a professional who can really give you the tips and tools to help you get where I'm still in therapy, you guys. And I think therapy is so needed. A lot of people don't want to talk to a stranger, but a stranger sometimes can be the best thing for you. I say go to therapy and get the help that you need. That's going to be another step into your healing journey. It's going to open doors for you. And this step 7, I'm going to say for me, step 7, that's another step for us guys, to healing is you got to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the things that happened to you. I struggled with forgiving myself. I struggled. So you have to be willing to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for what happened. Stop beating yourself up. Stop saying, what if I did this? What if I did that? Forgive yourself and say, Sherelle, it is okay. You made this mistake. It doesn't define you. Because I think a lot of times we beat ourselves up. Because I did that a lot of times. I still do that sometimes. But it's like you have to forgive yourself for what happened to you and for the mistakes you made and know that you're going to do better. And that final step, step number 8, is just living in your truth and living in your happiness. Be happy, be happy, be happy. Choose happiness, choose yourself. That's the biggest thing. Now, these steps are what kind of guided me and helped me get to where I'm at now. And I'm still healing, you guys. I'm still in my healing journey. I'm still loving myself. I'm still learning every day. Healing, people think that you can snap a finger and be healed in a year. It doesn't work like that. Some people take years until they heal. But I wanted to share my journey with you guys on this podcast, because I feel like that was important to me, to let you guys know the things I've learned and what I've grown from and what steps helped me get to the place I'm in now. And I think it's beauty in it. It's beauty in everything, y'all. But you have to be willing to do the work and to take the steps and recognize the signs to get better. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will talk to you guys soon. Again, this is Healing Conversations with Sherelle, and I'm out.